Grab your rods and tackle box, folks, as we dive into the wild world of fishing. Get ready for some laughs, some fish stories, and a touch of chaos as we wade into the deep waters of fishing wisdom. Our guides on this trip are a know-it-all, a guy who desperately needs a haircut, and a man named Sam. In this podcast, this motley crew shares their knowledge, their latest fishing antics, and probably get into more trouble than they bargained for. It's a podcast as unpredictable as the sport of fishing. If you love fishing, then this is the place to be, because in this podcast, every catch is a big one. Every story is a keeper, and the only thing more legendary than the tales is the trio delivering them. Welcome to the Bait Tank.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Bait Tank podcast. My name is Anthony. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. We're back. We've been gone for a month. Had some vacationing to do, some family obligations, all that good stuff. But we are back. We're here to talk about fishing, something that we love and enjoy very, very much. Joining me tonight, we have Sam, normal co-host. Zach is running late as usual. But my wife's also going to hop in today. Today, we're talking about two things a little bit different. Nothing too crazy necessarily, but they are related. The first topic is going to be talking about microfishing, everything about it. Using light lines, small gear, all that good stuff to try to catch these fish from various different sizes. Kind of talk about what that is, some of the challenges with it, some of the goals with it for some that are in it hardcore. And then for the second half of the show, we have a debate. We're going to talk about fishing records. First off, how to submit one, what to look for, what options there are, what types of records you can go for. But then specifically, there is one that happened this year that has caused some debate in terms of whether, one, it should have been counted, but two, how would we handle it, or how should it be handled, and was it handled correctly? So we're going to talk about all that good stuff. Should be a good show. I said Zach will hopefully get here eventually. Let's see.
So
probably.
Do we want to do like a little recap of what we've been doing the last month?
You mean before we took a hiatus, or the actual month?
No, like when we took a hiatus. Because I have a really cool. Well, it wasn't really cool, but all right. I just want to tell you what I was doing because.
What'd you do? That's fine, man. Go ahead. Tell the world. Tell the world what you did.
I was part of a crew that took part in a salmon tournament, and this was early June. And I had every intention of recording this, but we had 30-mile-an-hour winds, 8-foot waves, and believe it or not, it snowed. We lost my GoPro at one point in the water. Like, we had it in a pole holder. And I had the handle all the way down, so it was like 16 inches down. We had an 8-9-foot wave with just swaboosh, and that thing came up, went out of the water, and we netted it.
Lucky.
Yeah.
That's wrong there. You got lucky.
So lucky. Luckily, I had the floating device duct tape to the very end of the handle, so it just didn't.
Yeah.
Go to the bottom of Lake Michigan, 100 feet deep.
Sure.
So I have some short clips that I'll probably put on my YouTube channel. Be the first YouTube videos that I actually have.
And what's your YouTube channel name?
Sam's Amputee Adventure.
There we go.
But for some reason, when you search it, because I don't have any videos up, it doesn't come up.
It doesn't. When you do the search, you have to go to the little extra tab and actually go down and pick a channel, and then it'll show up.
I know, but that's a lot of work for people.
Oh, it is. But once you put some more videos on it, it'll help.
It will. But we did, in 48 hours, we did 38 hours of fishing.
That's nuts.
And it wasn't fun either, because we're like, all right, dress I'll be honest, I always say hunting, it's the best miserable time ever.
Sure.
It was June. We were in hunting clothes. I was Carhartt hoodie, Carhartt jacket, insulated bibs. It was miserable. There in these videos, you can see fluffy flakes. And my buddy, he brought his girlfriend who's never been fishing in her life, if she's just like seasick and I was seasick, it doesn't take like it's very hard to make me want to hurl in a boat. But
Sure.
after about 3 hours dealing with 7-8 foot waves, and some of those boats were only like 20 footers. I don't know why they were on the big water. Yeah, we were like, oh man, I got 50 says they don't make it. Like we were like, it was that scary. But
Well, hey,
it was,
let's say hello to some people that are in here watching. We got let's see, Fish in the Mid-South says L first azoid, so I guess he's claiming first. Look, lady, what is up? Stewart, the fish whisperer, welcome in. Catfish and Katie Collins,
Katie!
glad you're here, glad you're back. For those who don't know, she was supposed to be on the show a couple episodes ago. Did have a heart attack, was in the hospital, but she's up and running again. So we're glad to see her out there. Let's see. That's all the moment. Hey, I'm under the
Wabash
impression.
Nate.
They missed one. Hey, Wabash Nate, welcome in. All right, sorry I missed you, man. Unless you just did it, he probably just did it, didn't he?
I have no idea.
He was there for a good 5
He's there
minutes.
the whole time. I'm just horrible at this, right?
It's okay. It's your first day. I'm totally kidding. By the way, he just popped in.
It feels like the first day, man. It's everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for me today. Again, that month-long hiatus did not help any. So hopefully we can bring us all back together and get things going again soon and smooth. We are back for the long haul, though. Hope everybody's, again, having a good weekend. Appreciate you swinging by and tuning in. We are going to be talking about microfishing now. Mike Sampson, hello. I just saw you last second. Glad you're back in, man. So, microfishing. What is microfishing? So, according to Google, all right, y'all are going to love this. There'll be a lot of screen sharing today. According to Google, the definition of microfishing is fishing for small fish.
Oh, dude, you microfish even when you don't plan on it.
Yeah, I know, right? And like any other type of fishing, having the right gear makes it easier and more enjoyable.
Well, I'm really good at that, apparently.
So, you know, it doesn't have to be just small fish, though. So the idea with microfishing, for anybody who's trying to get into it or who's even never heard of it or just wants to know what it's about, the idea is that you're able to target more and different species. You know, these people are actually going out there with size like 12 hooks, like flies, like fly fishing fly hooks.
Yeah.
Tiny baits, you know, a single kernel of corn, an absolute nibble of a red worm.
So generally, like when I microfish, I want it to be about that big.
I'd even go smaller.
I'm trying to cut off the horn like that I'm pitching, but it's not working.
Using a Warhammer model to try to show a fish.
It's an orchid.
Whatever. It's not the best way to do this. So
bring out your inner nerd.
Sure. But yeah, you end up using smaller gear. A lot of those guys are using 2-pound test line, like most. They might even sell 1-pound line. I'm not 100%. I've never went that small. Smallest I've ever gone was 2 pounds. I don't know if they sell 1-pound line or not.
Oh no, I'll Google it.
That's what I'm doing right now.
I mean, if you're doing like a 10 car or a fly rod, you could get the tippets, and those are smaller, right? They have those that are really, really, really tiny.
They make 1-pound fishing line.
Do.
Right, so they do make 1-pound fishing line. Wow. Either way, you're using this super, super light, super, super small gear to catch these.
I'm actually going to buy that because I'm curious.
But like, the idea with this is using these small baits. You're going into these areas where there's congregations of these small fish, and you at that point, rather than going for like most of us go for like the biggest fish that we can get a hold of. A lot of the microfishing guys are going for the most species, or they're going after something they've never caught before. These guys are catching, different types of shad, different types of shiners, minnows. And obviously they catch bigger fish too, but at that point,
it's what I do. So
it's
I
more of a
target
challenge
steelhead and brook trout, and I use 4-pound test net too, just because reeling in a 10-pound fish on 4 is already hard enough. I'm not ready to go hard mode.
But yeah, so the idea is that rather than targeting the biggest fish that you can get a hold of a species, it's more of targeting more species. But as Sam's proving with his story, statement, whatever you want to call it there, being able to target other fish in ways that other people can't is also an example of microfishing, or at least light line fishing.
Yeah,
You're presenting these baits in ways that the fish haven't seen, that are appearing more natural because it's more camouflaged. It's harder to see 2 pound and 1 pound fishing line, or even 4 pound fishing line versus 20 pound. So
hard to cast it too.
yeah, I know. Last time I messed with 2 pound fishing line, I was fishing in Tellico for trout, and I can think of at least 3 spinners that I snapped while trying to cast, just because that line is so light.
So, what kind of fishing pole do you use?
I use an ultralight. What brand I couldn't tell you.
Like a 6 foot?
I've had a 6 foot. I also had a 7 foot, and the 7 foot was actually my favorite.
All right. So one of these days when I go to the post office, I'm going to send you an ice fishing pole.
The little 2 foot one.
It's like 2.5, but yeah, it's really like it's weird. It really is weird. But when you're like creek fishing or something like that, using ultralight, it is your best friend because you're not tangling up with brush. You're still getting that action, and I run ugly sticks because, granted, they don't have the action like most fishing poles do. Like you'll miss some bites, but good. It's still an ugly stick at heart. You're gonna have a hard time breaking it.
Right.
I've caught a 12-pound steelhead on one of those things. In the middle of the summer, I was targeting brook trout. It was a complete accident. It wasn't fun. It was afterwards, like, oh yeah, but you can't horse it. But yeah, next time, remind me.
Sure. So, but back to the art of microfishing. So, what kind of gear? We've been talking about it: ultralight gear, ice fishing gear, stuff that's designed to use lighter weight line. You're not trying to horse these fish in. You can't really horse these fish in, especially if you're getting anything that's significantly higher than your line class, which that's a whole other thing. We'll talk about it more in the second hour with the whole fish record thing. But there actually is its own set of records that are line class records that people that microfish are going after. Because if they happen to catch a big fish while they're pursuing just the multitude of species that they can, well, they're likely going to have a line class record.
I'll be honest, I did not know that.
I didn't either until you told me earlier.
Yeah, that's really cool.
What, the line class records were a thing?
Yeah. I just thought it was like, here's the biggest fish. Congratulations. It didn't matter.
I'm not 100% obviously, because I don't know for every state. I operate under the impression that every state has line class records, but I know there's certain ones that you can actually look them up and find them easily. They're kind of advertised, But we'll go into, like I said, we'll go into more with the records thing. But yeah, the idea of catching these bigger fish or these multitudes of fish on this really small gear is what microfishing is. And it translates to all kinds of aspects of the sport, right? Like it's a whole other set of challenges for those who want to do it. In mine and Shayna's case, we do a lot of bluegill fishing with light gear because we're trying to catch we're not necessarily after the huge hand-sized bluegills when we're going after catfish, So we like the ones that are probably 3 to 4 inches long. They have a small mouth, so we're using small gear. The part in the cats, if you can hear them, I don't know if they're being obnoxious today. But by using the smaller gear, we're able to get a hold of more bluegills, and that's the name of the game when you're going after bait. You want as much bait as possible. And Shayna's really good at it. I am not. I don't know if she has more patience for it or what, or if it's too busy fixing the other rock, screwed it up or what. But she seems to always.
I'm really good at bait catching.
Being able to catch bait. Yep.
It's a challenge.
Well, from the videos I've seen, you're the only one really good at catching fish. See, I can say that because there's no video evidence that I don't catch fish.
That's fair.
And also, you're like really far away.
He's only like 19 hours from here.
Road trip.
Well, we were actually in Michigan last week. We were up there for the 4th.
We were only there for 3 days.
There was no way we could have met up with you.
I don't care. We could have shared a pickled pizza together again.
Well,
if you would have drove 3 hours down to see us, sure.
I would have actually. Like,
we were busy family.
I don't care. I would have. Honestly, like, next time.
We'll let you know.
Pickle pizza, I got you.
We'll let you know.
For those who don't know, who are thinking what the hell is pickle pizza? It is awesome.
It is.
You like pickles? You like cheese?
So it sounds really weird.
It does sound really weird.
It is an Alfredo sauce with mozzarella cheese and dill pickles. That's it. And then a little bit more mozzarella cheese on top of it. And then you sprinkle it out of the oven with kind of like a veggie mix with fresh dill. Personally, I love crushed red peppers on it too because it adds a little zing to it. And yeah, it is so good.
Did you not listen to the intro of the video? This happens quite often. We admit that
No, I
happens.
know, but I'm tired.
His worst was that.
Obi and I are both. Well, I'm sorry. You will always be Obi to me.
Yeah, I know.
Are kind of larger guys, and we talk about food a lot because
yes, we do.
I had to cut my foot out to meet my New Year's resolution. So I mean,
oh my god,
jeez, so bad. But
anyways, microfishing. I'm
Microfishing.
good at it.
Shannon is good at it. So the idea of using these lighter gear to catch these smaller fish intentionally is microfishing.
I find it to be a little bit more relaxing because you're not having to like lug a bunch of like heavy stuff around.
That's true.
Catfishing.
If you are microfishing, you typically can use the same bait for everything. You have you can have everything in a Ziploc bag in your pocket and be fine for the day.
I use a fanny pack.
Either way, but I'm just saying it doesn't have to be a whole tackle box or.
I've been known to shove a cup of worms in my pocket and just walk around with that. Like it's a whole thing.
So I stopped doing that because I forgot about them. I just threw those pair of pants away.
Sure.
Really.
You can't shout out that stain. I'm pretty sure the missus would have gotten really mad if I threw those pants in the washer. So, no lie, like part of me thought about I was like, it'd be funny.
It would be. But yeah, so light line fishing for me, it used to be the main thing I did anyway, right? So you have microfishing, right? 1 pound, 2 pound test, size 12, sized up to. I've seen some people say they use 24, size 24 hooks. Those are ridiculously tiny.
How do you tie it?
With a magnifying glass, they literally have one of those little things they can put on their glasses to hold it.
I was thinking that's like a sewing needle eye. That's probably what they use is like one of those they make assisting threaders.
I've seen people do that.
Probably
the magnifying glass on and the pin.
You probably have to. And then but you're using that teeny tiny line, using teeny tiny
alligator clips,
using teeny tiny sinkers. Oh, you're talking about something different. He's talking about the.
It's like a little handle with two wires on it, and it loops in the middle. So when you just put it.
The actual threader.
Yeah, you probably would have to see something like that. But I know some people that use the little magnifying glass. They have one that I don't know where they found it, but it attaches to their glasses, so they can zoom in on it.
I've seen people use like the little alligator clip magnifying glass set though to hold the hook, and then they just threaded the needle that way and tied it so they could not have to worry about holding the hook because of how small it was.
Sure. But yeah, you'd have to do something that small with that. But so there's that spectrum of it. Then you have the light line fishing. That's what I used to do mostly. I'd go fishing at the dam. People are using 80-pound line, 60-pound line. It's nothing. I'm using like 8 to 10 pound, maybe 12-pound max. That was what I preferred. And there's benefits to it, obviously, especially in current. The smaller line, the less drag there is, right? Smaller diameter.
Obi, give me 1 second. I just realized when my bottle popped and you heard that I'm using the wrong microphone. So I need to fix that.
How dare you?
Is that better?
Dude, that is significantly better. Holy smokes.
Yeah,
that's clear.
Wow.
It's like listen to like an actual podcast now.
Right?
Well,
not only the people that were running actually knew what they were doing.
I just need a better camera. This one looks like it's from the 90s, but I forgot.
Yeah, I messed mine up. It's I'm using the webcam from the laptop now. Today it's just not it's not great.
And I'll be honest, the first time we did our podcast, you reminded me I needed a webcam, and I was like, oh no, we got to go to Walmart. So I just got the best one Walmart had, and it works. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I use my phone because I usually use my phone. Like today it's a webcam, but usually I use my phone. But yeah, so light line fishing, less drag because of less diameter line. I'd argue more opportunities to fish. Going back to the whole drag thing, especially when you're fishing areas where there's a bunch of washouts or eddies or um, riffles, where it's going to move really fast. You're trying to aim it down a certain column or certain row of rocks. It's much easier to aim it with that lighter line because of that drag. So you're able to present that bait to the fish better. Not only is it able to not be drug left and right so much in the current, but even depth. Your amount of weight needed to get that bait down on a lighter line is significantly less too because of the lack of drag. And that can make or break a fishing trip. I remember days where I would go down to the dam and fish with people, and they'd be there all day, maybe catch 6 fish, and I catch 6 fish in an hour. And that would be the difference. I mean, I would be using the exact same bait, same technique, same everything, but the line class was different. They'd be using, like I said, 20, 30, 40, 60, 80 pound line. And here I am using 10 or 12. And am I saying it's the end all be all? No, I've snapped off a lot of fish. And obviously it's a lot less abrasive resistant in comparison. You know, take 80-pound line and scrape it against concrete versus 10-pound line against concrete. You're going to break through the 10-pound line much faster. So there's, like everything else, there's pros and cons to it, right? But the idea of being able to use lighter gear, smaller weights, all that stuff to present yourself in front of more fish and have the higher potential to catch fish. That's why I always did it.
I consider it more of a skill too. Like a lot of people can go and just kind of horse a fish in. We'll give it where it takes like more of a chess game. Like, what are they like? I can't let them go under these rocks or something like that, or you got to get them away from this vegetation. Versus just like tighten your dragon, like, oh no, you're coming. Like it just takes, yeah.
What were you gonna say, Shannon?
So we agree that fly fishing would be considered microfishing.
Yeah.
It would fit in that category, sure.
Given the lure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're using like a fly or whatever, they're small typically.
Mm-hmm.
Some are way smaller than others, but what Sam was saying is there's skill, there's technique that goes to it. That line is light, and that the bait, if you will, is a lot lighter as well. It's like, I can't say that. That's copyrighted. Anyways,
I mean, you can say what the copyright is too. That's all.
So in Disney's A Goofy movie, Goofy does this dance.
Yeah.
But it's his line out into the water.
Right.
There is skill to fly fishing. You can't just lob it out. It's too light. You have to finesse it. You have to
and that's
there's skill to it.
There's technique. Yeah. And that's a whole nother ballgame, right? So fly fishing, obviously, you have to whip a cast and the floating or sinking fly line, which is what she's referring to. You can't just throw it out there. It doesn't work. And then also you have such a light bait that adds to the whole. You can't just throw it out there. It's the weight of the line and the action going back and forth, the technique that allows you to project that bait out.
I think fly fishing is just beautiful to watch.
Same with tenkara. For those who don't know what tenkara is, it's a fly rod without a reel, with line tied to the end of it. That's it. It's like a cane pole except small. And it's a whole other thing. Like you literally have that 6 foot of line, and that's it. You have to sneak up on the fish. It's a whole other set of skills. So you have to sneak up on the fish. You can't be seen. You have zero casting distance, so you literally have to sneak on everything. Fly fishing, you can still get 40, 50, 60 foot casts if you're really, really good.
Well, forgive my Disney reference, but it makes me think of that every time.
No, it's fair. I mean, for sure.
I have tried to do that Disney cast, by the way. No.
Have you?
I've never thrown away so much line. My dad was so mad.
No. 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 Dad can't be mad at that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, you get my point.
I do. So, yeah. Light line fishing, microfishing. It's two totally different techniques compared to normal. Like Sam said, you can't horse it in. It's a whole other set of skills in terms of fighting fish, having a good drag on the reels, all that good stuff. Shannon talked about fly fishing and me bringing in tenkara with it because it's kind of the same thing.
I would love to learn how to fly fish.
It's you're projecting these light, tiny baits to much more fish because of the presentation of the bait. It's way more realistic. It's a good way to catch a fish.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
How dare you?
I know. Last time I picked up a fly pole, I accidentally sliced somebody's cheek open. So, tried to fly fish. He was teaching me, and yeah, I snapped him with the line like right across the cheek. I felt so bad, and he bled, and that was just a traumatic experience for a 12-year-old, and I haven't done it since. So,
Yeah. Excuse me.
but I do use fly poles all the time for microfishing. I just use a spinning rod.
They're spinning really me.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. I have like no patience. I have none whatsoever, and I get frustrated really easily, which is why I would love to learn how to fly fish, because if I could successfully do it, it means I've overcome other obstacles in my life.
Sure.
But also, I think it's just really beautiful to watch. And also, I've never caught a trout, and I feel like I could do that with fly fishing.
You can catch trout with a lot of stuff, but the fly fish is definitely one of the more popular ways to catch trout, especially since they typically feed on bugs.
Mm.
That's kind of the whole point of the flies in the first place. Most of them are resembling some form of bug at some stage
AKA
in its life.
Flies.
Yeah, right.
And they make little bumblebee looking things.
They
like,
do, and
they use all kinds of things.
And
to
they make all kinds of crazy looking ones too. Like there's crayfish looking ones, there's minnow looking ones.
There's mice too.
Mice, dude. I've watched some videos of people in Canada fishing for brook trout with the mice patterns. Dude, those are some of the most aggressive looking strikes you would find in fishing. Like,
you would not believe how hard those things.
Dude, they see a mouse, it's like, I'm going to murder it. There's not a hey, I'm gonna go kiss it, or oh hey, I'm gonna suck it in. It's literally like I'm flying out of the water, acrobatic nonsense.
And those little brook trouts are mean. Like if you want for pound, probably one of the best fighting fish. I mean, they only get like on average up here probably 10, 12 inches.
If I say average down here is like 6 inches. They're very small here.
But most people, they don't fish they don't creek fish here, and that's where most brook trout, it's in the name.
Sure.
That's where they hang out. So
bubbling brooks.
Yeah. But they are just some good fighting fish, and if you ever hook into a plake, which is a crossbreed between a brook trout and a lake trout, not only is it probably it's probably the least mild fish, or like trout tasting fish there is, but they're like
a lot bigger.
Yeah, 18, 20 inches. Biggest one I caught was 21. And I'm not talking like it was 20 pounds. It was still only like 5.5 pounds, which is huge. For that kind of, like, if you're thinking anything with the brook trout, it has to be a minimum, like in the trout species at least. But
I recently learned there's tiger trout, and that's all I got for you.
I just learned that too about 6 months ago. So on my target list. I never even heard of one up here, but I don't know if I have to catch fish from Lake A and put them in Lake B. I'm gonna
make me some tiger trout.
Well, I can't remember which ones have to breed to make them.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
But my point is they're cool looking.
I want to say it's rainbow and brown trout together.
I think so too.
Right. That sounds right.
But
my point is they're cool looking.
Yeah.
And I learned yesterday that they exist.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Isn't that the video I sent you?
No, I sent it to you.
You sent it to me.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, it's
take credit for her find.
It wouldn't be the first time, but I want to say it does work both ways. It does. It has. Don't start with me.
Don't worry. I'm on your team.
Thanks, bro.
Got you. You would probably called and we would have shared a pickle pizza, but Obi was like, no.
You know what's funny is I did tell him we should call you, and he said that there was not enough time. I'm serious.
How did I know?
On my podcast.
I'm serious. I did. It was the 5th, and I was like, let's call Sam. He's like, he's like 3 hours away.
I would have driven.
Here's Shayna coming down the street in the Shayna bus. Oh, look, it's her husband. I'm not even going to honk the horn. Jeez. Oh, that hurts so bad. I can't believe you do that to me.
Listen, I think the next topic's going to take more than an hour. So I really
We'll start it soon.
Well, I'm just saying, I have things to say.
I know you do, and I'm waiting for Zach to get who's on his way home, because I need him to weigh in on that topic, too. Welcome to the show, Zach.
Zachariah.
We're waiting on you, man.
Oh,
But
he
yeah,
can talk right now, so we can make fun of him.
he can hear us right now. Yeah.
Oh. I feel like
Oh no.
Zach would not like microfishing because he's very much I like my big rods, I like my big hooks,
He
I like
does.
my big baits.
But what about we went creek fishing with him and he was using the small stuff?
I don't remember that. I honestly do not remember. I'm sorry.
We pulled over to a bridge and we were catching all kinds of crazy little things.
With the crickets?
Yeah. That's microfishing. He was using crazy tiny hooks.
I don't remember. I barely remember that.
Like 32nd ounce and 64th ounce.
I don't
jig
touch
heads.
crickets.
She does not.
I don't touch them.
Nope, she don't like them.
No cars, people.
They taste like chicken.
Bro.
I wouldn't know. Actually, I think I maybe had a chocolate covered cricket. I can't remember now.
Chocolate chicken.
So they have like
I've had that too, but that's good. It's called chicken mole.
Yeah.
I've had candy crickets like where it's like I'm trying to think like almost like you would candy a like a carrot, like how it. Sorry, I had ADD. But kind of like that glaze for a carrot.
Yeah.
But it's just like really sweet and crunchy. But it's one of those things too. If you ever travel someplace, just don't ask what you're eating until after it's in your stomach. And probably like wait a couple hours until it's digested.
Then ask.
Like, what was that? That was a grub. Like,
Go ahead, Trina.
Dragon balls.
Go ahead, Trina.
Lisa.
Say it. Shout her out.
Hi, Lisa.
That's not a shout out. That's a whisper.
Right.
Welcome in, Lisa. Glad you're here. Glad you can make it.
I'm not as annoying as you.
That hurts.
She's not wrong.
No, she's not. She's not.
Listen, this is not my forte. I'm just here. I am just here for support, and also I have things to say.
Sure.
Sort of.
But yeah, I like fishing with light line. Microfishing is on my list of things to do eventually. I know specifically if I'd have been smart, I had a chance. I probably could have nailed like 50 or 60 new species for me when I lived in Polk County, Tennessee, because I lived right there on the Conestoga River, and there was a section that branched off, and it would fill up in the spring, and every time it rained, it would get more water, but this one particular section would dry out, and there was this deep pool. And you could look in there when the sun hit just right, and there'd be hundreds of little fish. All of them looked different. It would have been so cool to do that if I'd have been thinking when I was younger. But I was a kid, and you kind of get brainwashed when you're first starting to fish and watching TV shows. Like, oh man, I got the biggest bass I've ever seen. You know, so like it's kind of programmed when you get into fishing to go for the biggest fish ever. I don't know why you smiled. Was it my imitation of the TV shows? I don't know.
When I think of TV shows, I just think of Bill Dance Outdoors, like his bloopers, and like hits his head on a bee's nest, and like there's a snake that falls in his boat.
He's going across the creek, and there's a snake, so he falls over. He hates snakes.
Or he his trailer just completely disattaches from his truck when he goes to.
Or my favorite one, they forgot to unattach the boat from the trailer.
Oh yeah. Oh, he just drove it back up.
Yeah, he did, but still.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, he has all kind of, or when he's trying to throw the battery in the boat, and the guy just drifted away from the dock a little bit, so he completely missed the boat when the water has.
Are you capable of staying on topic?
No, we're not.
No.
So what I was gonna say though is my bait rod, Anthony, my bait rod has like what line on it?
Your bait rod, I believe we have 6 pound test on it.
All right, so I've got a catfish on that. That was fun. I think that microfishing, like with the bare minimum of like what you have on a rod, can be really fun depending on what you catch because that fight is drastically different.
Oh yeah, and my best day of smallmouth fishing, I was using a bait rod. I just happened to have in the truck. Threw on a little tiny mini fluke on a jig head and was just fishing like a Demiki rig. And I caught 8 smallmouth. Only one of them was smaller than 18 inches. It was absolutely my best day of smallmouth fishing ever. From the same spot, I was carp fishing with 2 rods, didn't have any bites. And I was catching smallmouth with this other rod while I was waiting. And literally, there was no carp the whole day, but a ton of other fish. And all of them were on that 6 pound line. And it was absolutely nuts because you have to rely on the drag. You know, when you caught that catfish, you had to rely on the drag.
Yeah,
if it pulled really hard, it'd peel for a second. You have to wait.
You gotta be gentle with that line.
It's a different mindset and a different way to track things for sure.
Kind of to finesse them like you would carp.
Or crappie or anything else with soft mouths. Long story short, I like light line fishing. I don't know about Sam. It sounds like he does. Shayna does. And according to
I
Zach,
have like one full tackle box, like just strictly trout magnet jigs. If you don't
You
know,
have a tackle box? I don't believe that.
oh, shit.
Well, he's a tackle backs actually, but
No, he's a tackle collecting guru between the three of us.
I'm making fun of his Michigan accent.
Oh, I got you.
He's a tackle backs, like you say, bagel.
Hey, you leave my bagels out of this.
I've never even heard that before, dude. You didn't. That's Tennessee meets Northern Michigan meets.
Something I don't know. They're
I was
called
gonna
Hershey
say-
bagel with a Y. Bagel. No,
It's
it's
a
a
long
bagel.
A. It's got a line over it. Kind of like
How do you say
Shayna.
banjo?
Banjo.
That's a little different. All right.
Wait, how do you say it again?
How do you say banjo?
Banjo? What? That's not even a word.
Banjo. I said banjo. I didn't say banjo.
The
You said bagel.
no, now you're thinking banjo. Like,
I don't
Okay, I
know.
feel like I lost something here. I'm confused.
How do you say ukulele?
however you just said.
Ukulele. Ukulele.
That's not even a word.
That's fair. It's an instrument. That's why.
Yeah.
But
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
for those who are actually here for the topic, right? So microfishing. If you're trying to figure out how to get into it or what it's about, you're trying to catch either the small, a ton of different small species that people don't normally pursue with crazy tiny hooks like size 12 to size 24 hooks, or B, you're using like lighter tackle like small fly rods, 6 pound, 4 pound, 2 pound tests on spinning gear, all that kind of stuff, and you're trying to present your bait naturally to as many different fish or different types of fish as possible. There's a whole entire group of people that have tons of groups on Facebook, all that stuff for microfish, specifically for identifying species. There's a bunch of marine biologists in those that are all like discussing those species types and everything. And there's people that literally do challenges of how many species they can catch in a year, and they give out awards and stuff. It's a whole other ballgame. It's pretty cool. And then, like I mentioned earlier, there's a whole new set of records that you can go after and pursue for both state and world records, depending on the state you're in. Obviously, I don't know if all of them partake in it, where you can do line class records specifically, like, oh, hey, I caught a 4 pound bass on 2 pound line. Maybe that's a record. Or say you catch a 12 pound trout on 2 pound line. Well, that could be a record, and we'll get into more of that in a little bit when we get into the records part of the show. But the idea is that,
Yeah.
please tell me you get a fanny pack.
The fanny packs are in. I'm telling you, like whenever I'm doing creek fishing or something like that, with especially like micro lures and stuff, like it's full of stuff, and you can have extra leads and.
Well, it's nice that you can take so little gear and be able to
Lisa,
go
he
after
can't
so
find one
many
that would
fish.
fit him.
How? What?
I
is
think
this?
they make extenders. Oh, you can modify a seatbelt.
You know what? There we go. Yeah,
Toe
sure.
strap.
Or take a belt.
Ratchet strap. There you go.
Matt from Wannabe Outdoors, welcome in, man.
Um,
Zach, no, I do not use the micro rooster tails. I honestly, I haven't used a rooster tail successfully since I lived in Michigan.
I know what a rooster tail is.
It's a little inline spinner. You've used one before.
Cool.
You
Good
didn't
deal.
catch anything with it.
or like
Actually, no, you did. You caught a shell cracker off of one on the dock at Chester Frost.
I am not surprised that she caught something and you didn't.
I have the house.
I don't have to take
record.
this abuse.
I
I don't have to do this. I could just shut this off right now. I could just go to bed right now.
Man,
And every day
I
every
would
day.
love that.
Yes, you would. You know that's why I'm not doing it.
I am so
I'm
tired.
going to spite you. We're going to stay up and do the
I'm
show,
sorry.
and you're going to sit here and you're going to enjoy it.
And another thing with like rooster tails and stuff like that, there's companies that make like crankbaits. Yozuri is a good one. That make
Yozuri and Rebel. No, wait, Yozuri
Yep.
makes the Rebels, don't they?
Yeah. It just I hate using this term, but it's like the wish version of it. Like so it Rebel is just like I don't know. It's part of Yozuri, but it's like a part they don't really advertise. But Yozuri makes like these little crankbaits like this big, and they are amazing. Yeah. And I'm not crapping on Wish, by the way. Like I get a lot of fishing stuff from there.
Well, I say one thing I will say, Shannon made a good point. If you're going to be microfishing with those little tiny lures, a lot of times I think for sake of ease, you're probably better off changing out the treble hook for a tiny single shank hook. Yeah, your hookup ratio might be a little bit less, but you're less likely to really mess the fish up. Because 3 little tiny treble hook points that close in proximity to each other is going to be a nightmare for some people, especially if you're like me and you have fat fingers.
I didn't say it.
Yeah, pardon the cats. It's all good. Well, I know Shayna's super excited about the next topic.
I just have things to say.
And we kind of covered everything we're going to do with the microfishing and light line fishing. So 2 things are going to happen. I decided starting this episode that we're going to start giving away we're going to give away 1 sticker out, a Yakshire Outdoor sticker out every episode until I can get the ones in for the podcast. I will do those stickers instead. If you are interested in a sticker, I've selected a number in my head between 0 and 100. I have to just put a number, 1 chance to put in a number.
Oh, but I want to choose the number.
Okay, fine. I'll let you choose a number. You choose a number between 0 and 100. Don't say
I got the number already.
All right.
All right.
All you have to do is put a number between 0 and 100. It can even include 0 and 100 in the chat. The first person that gets the right number wins. If nobody gets the right number, the one closest. It does not matter.
Without going over.
Closest, okay. It matters. Closest without going over, according to Mrs. Yak. That's going to be the thing here.
Ooh.
So, anybody's in here watching, put a number down between 0 and 100 during the interlude. And when we get back, we will find out who the winner of the sticker is, get you sorted out, get that sent in the mail, and then we'll get on to the next topic, which is the debate about records, the problems with them, and the potential solutions, and what we may or may not think is the best way to handle it.
I have lots to say.
She does. So we'll be back shortly, and we will have to...
All right, wait. I got one question.
What's the question?
You already know my stance on it. Are we in agreement, or is this actually going to be a debate?
I'm under the impression that we agree, but I will definitely play devil's advocate to try to broaden the horizon and to be inclusive for all those that are watching. So again, 0 and 100, closest without going over, wins a sticker, and we'll be back right after this message.
Should I talk now to you? Can I talk to you now?
No, you can't. Yeah.
All right. I'll be right back. I need to get my water.
Grab your rods and tackle box, folks, as we dive into the wild world of fishing. Get ready for some laughs, some fish stories, and a touch of chaos as we wade into the deep waters of fishing wisdom. Our guides on this trip are a know-it-all, a guy who desperately needs a haircut, and a man named Sam. In this podcast, this motley crew shares their knowledge, their latest fishing antics, and probably get into more trouble than they bargained for. It's a podcast as unpredictable as the sport of fishing. If you love fishing, then this is the place to be, because in this podcast, every catch is a big one. Every story is a keeper, and the only thing more legendary than the tales is the trio delivering them. Welcome to the Bait Tank.
Does it always play the audio?
Yes, it always plays the audio.
Okay.
We're back. Let's see. What would you say the number? Go ahead and say what the number was, Shayna. Say it out loud what the number was.
Are we ready for that?
Yeah, it was during the interlude.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so 73.
73 was the number, which means Randy Swain is the winner of the Yakshire Outdoor sticker today. Congratulations, Randy.
I'm not mailing that. I'll just give it to him.
We'll just give it to you next time we see you.
It's a waste of paper.
Thanks for joining in. Had a whopping 2 contestants. We appreciate both of you.
Hey.
You know what? I'm feeling generous.
Let's just want to be one.
Matt, you're getting a sticker too. All right. Want to be outdoors and Randy Swain both getting a sticker.
Want to be? You need to send us.
I think I have his information already. If
hold on.
Worst case scenario, you message me on Facebook. We'll get you sorted out.
Hold on. Hey, what do you do? Hold on.
She's consulting the list.
I am.
She's checking it twice.
No. We do not. At least not on this list.
I got you.
Email us your address. yakshoreoutdoors@yahoo.com.
Or the bait tank.
Oh,
at
yeah.
yahoo.com.
My bad.
Either one. Zach said he's rigged. Viking is almost home, so Zach will be here soon, guys. And we can talk about the next topic. But
Sam abandoned us.
he said be right back. He said be back in a second. It's all good. It's an interlude. It's where you go to get your popcorn and your snacks.
Okay,
intermission in the old movies.
Listen,
Oh,
on
jeez.
that topic, we did decide today we wanted some popcorn from the
We
movie
did.
theater, so we went to the movie theaters and just got popcorn.
We did. It was great. we haven't been to the movies
Since Josie
pretty
was
much
born.
since Josie was. Yeah, no, I don't think we've been to one since she's been born.
No, we have. We did because she got COVID, January 2022.
Dude, was she with us in the movie theater? Or do we have somebody watching?
No, my mom was watching her and gave her COVID.
That's right. So we've been in the movies once in the last 3 years. So we were definitely looking forward to that popcorn. It was delicious.
I think I have ADHD because, man, I'm out here right now.
Nah.
So
tired on a Saturday when we should be fishing, but instead we're talking about fishing on the the Bait Tank podcast. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, Zach, you suck.
Yeah, the worst. Talking about popcorn, we're working on redoing our downstairs basement.
Yeah.
Sorry, she's making faces.
It's because the cats are being annoying again.
Oh, I thought she was making faces at me because off topic. But I already got like a popcorn, like a movie theater style popcorn machine. It was like $300.
Nice.
Black Friday last year, so it was like $100. But I'm really excited, and this way I get an 80-inch TV, which who doesn't want that?
We're not quite at 80-inch. I think we're at 75.
65.
65.
I'm plugging my computer in it. I'm playing League.
Dude, there ain't no way I can play League on that big of a screen.
Dude, that mini map is gonna be huge. There's no way I can miss it.
Map, I could either only watch the mini map or only watch my character. There's no way I can actually play it.
Well, it's not like you can see us anyways.
Apparently, it's rigged because you like Randy more than Matt.
I think I like him equally, just in different ways. Is that rude?
I don't know. Is it?
Pretty rude.
So.
Yeah. No.
Sam, I can't say because Anthony told me earlier I can't cuss on this.
I would rather you did. This is supposed to be a family channel. It's supposed to be a family show, family-friendly show.
Trust me, I have.
No big deal. But yes, he has struggled, and Zach has messed up the most.
Yeah, which I'm impressed because I'm on medication, and you can ask. Dude, I forgot your real name. I always call you Obi. You can ask Obi, like, how much do I swear on League?
What's your actual name?
What's my real name? Not your gamer tag. I've met you in real life, but I still called you by the gamer tag.
Dude, even in real life, I always called you Obi.
You have. It's all good, man.
Like, I know your name is Tony, but it's like...
No, it's not.
Tony, that's my dad.
It's Anthony. Well,
it's Anthony. Don't call him Tony.
Don't ever let my mom hear you call me Tony.
Or me, because I don't like it either.
Apparently Shannon doesn't like it either, but my mom really can't stand it.
Where's Zach?
I mean, Matt, and technically, yes, you could, because worst case scenario, if you get too rowdy, I'd just block you.
But, ooh, I'm good at that.
The blocking thing?
Yes, I'm so good at that. Don't touch me.
There's your warning. Don't get blocked by Shayna.
I definitely mute. What's it called when you like make someone go away for like 140 something seconds?
Oh, what is it called? Timeout.
I timed someone out on accident when they were being funny. I thought they were being serious. I was like, timeout, bye.
I can't remember who it was.
I haven't seen them in a long time since I did that, actually. I don't remember who it was.
Where is Zach? Where is Zach? Where is Zach? Where is Zach?
Okay.
It's probably going to get on at like 12:01.
He says he's almost right. We're doing the end credits. It's finally rolling the credits. He's like, hey, I'm here.
I'm taking a nap. Let me know when he's here.
He's not here.
Let me know when he's here.
But we can talk without him. So first half of the show, guys, we talked about light tackle fishing and microfishing, what they are, how to do it, our preferences with it, our experiences with it.
I'm good at it.
And pros and cons, and then bragging rights over here for this one. So the second half of the show, there's been a debate recently in the state of Ohio. I put Indiana in the description because I'm an idiot, but it's in Ohio. The Ohio state record blue cat was just broken by a girl who caught it on a jug, which is unheard of. You know, you don't usually catch state record fish on jugs on a regular basis. Usually it'll be on some sort of commercial type of fishing or on rod and reel. So the debate, and for those in chat, if you're hanging out here and you can hear me, I would love to hear your opinion before we continue this debate. Should a jug fishing or non-rod and reel fishing record hold the state record, or should it be its own separate category? Or is there something else you think is a good idea to put in there? That is what today's debate's about. Before we actually kind of discuss our opinions on it, though, we're going to talk about records themselves and how to get in it. Long story short, most states are going to have rod and reel records and commercial records. They're going to be separate. State of Tennessee is a good example here. And actually, let me share the screen. I have some stuff pulled up. Share. Get rid of this tab. All right, so here's Tennessee. This is all their listings of the Tennessee State Fishing Records. They have Class A, which is sport fishing methods, which is rod and reel. And then you have Class B, which is literally everything else. They have trot line, limb line, jug, slap basket, gigging, grabbing, grab hooks, snagging, archery, spear gun, commercial gear. All that's its own separate record.
Wait, snagging is illegal there?
There is a legal snagging season here in Tennessee, yes.
Huh.
You can only keep certain species while you do it, though. It's not for all species.
Oh, if you even get caught in Michigan with a weighted hook, you are not going to have a good day.
I got you. Here is that 15-year-old with that 101-pound.
Oh, so it's actually a girl.
Yeah.
I thought you were calling her a girl because you're just being a butthead.
No. She's 15-year-old, 101-pound blue catfish.
Okay.
Caught on a jug line on April 7th this year.
Do I get to give an opinion yet?
No.
Oh. I have things to say.
You have things to say? I got things to say. Hear me. So, but it's actually going to be 20 minutes tops so he gets here.
Zach!
Wow.
Yeah, he had a family obligation to take care of today. It is what it is.
Still judging.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Generally speaking, when it comes to records, you catch a fish, you keep it alive, you call your local DNR, wildlife department, records department, one of those three, whatever it's called in your state. You sit and wait for them to show up. They weigh it. Then they have to certify your scale or tell you to go to a certified scale to get it verified. If it's a certain species, it's kind of rare or is unheard of. Like you get some whopping. Like if you walk up with a 30-pound largemouth bass, they're probably going to take a DNA sample, which may or may not require killing the fish to get it to verify it's a record, right? Because at that point, it's so out of the norm range that they might think it's a hybrid of some sort. So that's its own thing.
We got an opinion from someone.
We do. Matt says, I think it should count because it's the legal means of fishing, bait, hook, sinker, line. Just because it was a jug and not a rod makes no difference. All right, well, that's one opinion.
When did I get to give my opinion?
You know what? Go ahead. You're so antsy and so impatient. Why don't you give your opinion?
I'm tired. I'd like to go to bed.
Should that record stand?
No. And let me tell you why it should not stand. All right? So...
Hold on a second. Hey, Sam, is there a way you can send me a soapbox quick to have her stand on?
Oh.
Yeah, actually, my fan's propped up on one.
She's getting all like, I'm running for president. Here's my answer.
I do not think it should stand because, for example, with Tennessee, as he was showing y'all, there's A and there's B. B is commercial. B has jug fishing in it. Now, I understand that she's not a commercial fisherman. At least I'm assuming she is not. She may have family that does that. I don't know the full situation. Jug fishing is not part of A, though, if for Tennessee at least.
Right.
It's rod and reel. If a rod and reel record is replaced by jug fishing, then they should separate it entirely to A, B, and C. C being other forms of technique. Because how are you competing against the two? One is completely different than the other. Like, they are completely different situations. And jug fishing can mean a vast different, like, there's so many different kinds of jug fishing. You can use almost anything to jug fish. I think they should be completely separated. I do not think that record should have been, what is that word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh. Superseded. Stand. It should be superseded.
It shouldn't stand.
It should not stand. I don't think it should have, it does not. If I were in charge, it would not have worked. I mean, she would have gotten the kind of recognition and certificate for like doing a great job, but it wouldn't have gotten the state record for me. And
Matt asks you specifically, what's a regular fisherman look like?
there's not an answer to that.
It's the way you said when you were talking your little rant about regular fishing versus
Well,
not
commercial
regular.
fishing
Yeah.
is different.
It is.
That's my differentiation is commercial fishing versus any other kind of fishing.
Like
I'm just saying jug fishing is vastly different.
Well, Randy agrees with you.
Thanks, Randy.
I
Although
agree
jug
with
fishing is
you.
really fun with you, dude.
Sam agrees with you too.
Well, it's
I
like
honestly think jug fishing is cheating.
it is. Like I'm like it's essentially almost the same thing as like gill netting. Like, oh my god, I caught this 40-pound salmon.
Put it out and wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I also
and-
think noodling should also not be counted.
That's also fair.
Yeah, and if
I-
this
I-
counts,
I-
and if I hit a record deer with my car, that should count.
That's a fair point.
That is a great.
That is a fair point.
That is a great example of how it should not be a thing.
That is a fair point.
And
so
not to, like, I know this is a fishing show, but if you look at all the largest deer that's been killed that are not records, they've been hit by like trains, trucks, 18-wheelers. They haven't been shot, like,
yeah,
because they're smart. I don't know where I was going with that, but
No, Matt, I agree with you, and that's not what I meant. I'm just saying that I think there should be a separate category. Like if I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say because I'm not super informed on a lot of stuff. I don't know a lot of terminology and a lot of like the phrasings and rules and regulations. That's more of Anthony's kind of purview. But jug lining and jug fishing are not the same. Completely agree. But I do not think that if a record is a rod and reel record, it should be broken by jug fishing.
yeah, it
Like
could be
that's
like
the simplest way of saying it.
have like a subsection. So like, all right, this is the standing record, but there's a B section where it shows like, by the way, this kid, and I'm super freaking old because I'm referring to a 15-year-old as a kid, caught 100-pound catfish that weighed more than she did.
probably.
Like, I think
Like,
that would
I'm really
be
excited for her and everything. I just don't think it's a legitimate record.
yeah, and that's a kind of fish that I like most anglers just dream about hooking.
Oh, there's some heat here, Sam. Some heat coming to you.
Oh yeah,
That is not a good point. No offense. That's the worst comparison ever. A vehicle is not a means of hunting, unless you live in West Virginia.
I will say though, a lot of people don't consider jug fishing to be actually a form of fishing.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I don't consider jug fishing or
and-
trout lines. I consider that more of a survival method or commercial fishing. So that's exactly what I was making the comparison by.
And on Sam's line of thought there too, if you hit a deer with your car, you can't keep the deer.
Typically
Yeah, you
speaking,
can. Yeah, you can.
it depends on
Not
the state.
here,
It
you
depends on the
can't.
state.
Okay.
And it depends on if you actually have a tag for it or not. If you don't have tags for it, most states aren't going to let you keep it.
So in here you can get a roadkill tag. It's a white tag. You just either have to call emergency services. They will either give you the license, or they'll just tell you load it in your phone or in your car, truck, whatever. And here's a case number. If you get pulled over, go to get it processed. Just give them that information, and you're golden.
So let me give you an actual example of like a situation which I've been not involved in, but I know like firsthand about. I have a friend. He has a hunting license. He had tags and everything. He had a deer with his truck. Thing was mangled. He put out his misery. He went to jail for it, and they didn't let him keep it, even though he had tags and stuff, because it was not done while actually actively hunting. But
again, I think I said the digression of the officer at the time too.
Oh, for sure, because he did definitely get a TWRA agent that was not the nicest fella. It was like 3 a.m. The guy was mad he had to get out and do something.
I mean, that's fair.
And that's fair, yeah, it's 3 a.m. But point being, I don't think it should replace a record. I think it should have its spot in the record holding, but it should not replace a record.
Yeah, it should definitely have an honorable mention for sure.
Travels and Gardening with DJ, welcome in. Everybody, I think, is doing great. We're just having a debate about whether or not the Ohio State record catfish that was caught in April, if the way they handled it was correct, should it have actually been labeled as a record. since it was breaking a rod and reel record and it was caught on a non-rod and reel fishing technique.
I agree, Matt. I totally agree. I think it should be at a federal level, honestly. I think all the rules should apply across states when it comes to this particular thing.
The problem with that is that every state does not have the same population, does not have the same
Which
amount of
goes
people
into
participating.
it goes into my other point, but we haven't got to that question yet.
So what question are you wanting to answer so that way they know what's coming?
Public waters.
Oh yeah, we ain't got there yet. All
I
right.
know. I can't answer like.
I forgot to pull that article up. I got to pull that article up still.
I have things to say.
This particular catfish was caught in Ohio, but it is not the only record that was in contention recently in the last like 10 years. The most famous one that I know of is actually a crappie record, which I can't pull. I didn't pull that article up, so I don't have it. I'm not going to try to search for it. But a guy caught a black crappie that was, I think, 6 ounces bigger than the state record out of a private pond and tried to get it to verify as a state record.
Do I get to make my opinion now?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I also think that should not be allowed because, as he was saying, there are different populations of different things in different states and different regions and everything. Example being, Michigan doesn't have blue cats like Tennessee does. The state record for Michigan is like 53.35 pounds, and it was caught by an Indiana man in like the lower peninsula somewhere. You're not going to find a 122-pound, 3-ounce cat like Micah Burkhart got in Michigan. So if you were to try and say that,
there's a reason why world records exist. What you say? There's a world record, then there's a state record.
Right.
But when it comes to state laws being the same versus another state, I do not think that can work. I think the way it is currently is fine.
Let me finish my thought. I paused because I had to like finish compiling for a second because I got like really excited. Okay.
The smoke alarm's gonna go off soon. Be careful.
Anyways, the state records is because not everything is the same. So when you go to the public water versus private water argument, who put trophy fish in there? Who has been feeding them God knows what? Who has been hoarding the big fish that they have and breeding them? We don't know. But also, for example, with TWRA in Tennessee, they cannot step on private property without permission. And you don't have to have a fishing license on private property if it's your property.
At least not
so no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said TWRA in Tennessee. If the water is not public, it should not be a public record.
I agree. I do agree with you on that one.
Well, that and you could control so much on like a pond fishing. You can control what the fish eats. You can get rid of birds. You can get rid of fish or like other fish, turtles. Yeah, there's so many things. Bears. It's why hunting, which I know mostly about hunting records because that's me.
Well, even in hunting records, you have typical and non-typical.
Well, you have typical and non-typical, but like high-rise fence, like guided hunts, you can easily shoot a 350, which in Michigan, like where I'm at, like a 350-point buck is comparable to a frickin' elk.
Sure.
See, I didn't swear. I said frickin'. Let's bring it back to like 4th grade. But you could easily shoot a monster deer, but that's because you control everything from what it eats to what it interacts with.
Yeah,
right. But those
other human they don't count because you control everything. Like you're
it's
essentially
like a
eating
curated experience.
Yeah, you're hunting and fishing a pet at that point.
Right. And Matt brings it up too. Trophy pay lakes are privately owned, so they shouldn't count either.
I didn't know that they did.
I don't know if they do or not. It depends from state to state. But I also know
there's a whole thing going on with that now.
There's a whole other issue, which that's to be we'll talk about that in the next episode.
Because there's a lot to be said about that. You should have Randy on for that.
Okay, hey Randy, I need you for the next episode. I'll message you later. But the idea that you have these lakes. Where was I going with this? Oh, you said you don't know if they count. That you didn't know they counted. I don't know if they do or not. But I will say a lot of the people that have these trophy pay lakes, that have these big fish in there, a lot of them don't live long enough to be caught and registered as a record. Because the fish most states require the fish to be alive when it gets checked. But I will also say, in terms of this blue cat discussion for Ohio, there was a couple other things that were put into question. The fish was released before the scale was certified, which is and it's a gray area, right? Because a fish that big does not need to be out of the water that long because of how old it is, right? The idea of trying to get the fish back in the water as fast as possible for the sake of the fish, I 100% applaud and I'm okay with. But the fact that they were not able to get the scale certified beforehand did raise some red flags for some people, because what's the difference between them weighing that fish and then weighing it again with like sinkers or something in the stomach? You know what I mean? You have no way to prove it because the fish is already gone.
Good
That
old
was
Lake
one of
Erie.
that was one gray area thing. It doesn't help that happened with the walleye anglers last year.
Lake
Right?
Erie.
It
Was
doesn't
it
help at
last
all.
year? I know that
Was
boat
it-
sold for like
was it-
150,000.
Are you serious? That boat sold for
Yeah,
150,000?
like the minimum
Why?
bid was
Who
30
wants to
grand.
buy? Who wants to buy the cheater's boat?
It was
How
a
do you-
great boat. Like if I had the money, it's a $300,000 boat. If I can get it for
I'm
half
not paying
price, I don't.
150 grand for a boat that's tainted for life. Like I'm gonna drive around like, oh hey, that's a cheater's walleye boat. You know, I don't want to have that for
You know, a
150
little
grand.
bleach, it'll be fine.
Shh.
It's like buying like a cartel's Lamborghini. If it's half off, it's like, well, you know, that's just red
20
paint.
bucks is 20 bucks.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Jeez, that's nuts.
Sorry.
But then the other thing, let me pull this article back up. The other thing, I don't know if this article had it in, if it's the other article. I have it pulled up though on one of these. Wrong one. Is it this one? Under long-standing rules devised by the Sanctioning Outdoor Writers of Ohio. Yes, it's causing controversy. They want to revise the rules. This article, by the way, is by the Columbus Dispatch, for those who didn't see it.
You know, if I was that girl, though, I'd be so happy. Like, yes, they had to make extra rules just for me.
I mean, I personally wouldn't care if I caught a fish that big. I'd be okay with it being a separate category.
And honestly, it's been documented, so that
Right.
still matters. Like, she's still in the news. It's still a thing. It's a good catch. I just don't think it's like a catch.
Yeah.
So that's
So,
we're about our opinions, though. That's the whole thing.
and
like I said,
honestly, I would have, if it was in season, and obviously it was because that's the main thing you target when you're jug fishing. I would have gotten the thing mounted or taxidermied personally.
Right.
So
Fine.
it probably
would
would not have gone in the water.
I would not have mounted or taxidermied it because I want to let it go, let it reproduce and everything, and make more trophy fish or whatever. But
yeah, but it's
what
old.
was I googling? I was googling something.
Trying to find.
His boys probably aren't swimming upstream anymore. Like,
I don't think that's how that works, bud.
Well, look, it sounds good.
Okay. I forget what I was on Google.
You know, I'm kind of curious about that now too.
Hold on.
Why not? I already bought one.
Oh, here it is. Hang on, this is it. I read a couple of different. Man, my phone is not, or my computer's not happy at the moment.
So I want to throw something out here real quick, if you don't mind. So I was looking at the TWRA fishing regulations, like how they would categorize A and B, one being, recreational, B being commercial and everything. The definition of sport fishing is fishing done with a rod and reel for sport or recreation. In the state of Tennessee, I would argue that would not qualify because it was done not with a rod and reel. Now, this is Ohio, completely different rules,
Oh, apparently they forgot their scale. That's what it was. So the Ohio department came out and just did the measurements, which it's another standard way to measure it. It could be off by a little bit, but nothing too crazy typically.
Van Diesel said it best. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Every little bit helps.
That's true.
Valid point.
They had to keep the fish alive overnight.
That'd be a hard feat in itself, honestly, though.
They did take it down to the Bethel Feed and Supply store to user scale, and the result was about 5 pounds over the previous record. Where's the? Hang on.
Leviathan. They call it the Leviathan.
It is. It means big old fish.
Meeting the next few weeks to discuss the fish then.
This is not the same article I had read earlier. But the other thing that was mentioned was that besides the fact that it's a separate technique that it should be its own category, was the fact that there was a gray area about whether or not them keeping that fish overnight like that, could they have stuffed it with weights or anything before they weighed it and they got rid of the fish before there was evidence to prove they did or didn't do it.
I need you to Google something for me real quick.
What am I Googling?
I need you to find out, like, first we have A and B. A being recreational, B being commercial.
Uh-huh.
Find out what Ohio's recreational is. See if it says sport fishing, because, man, I will go to bat for this one, because
Hey.
I have another opinion. I need to know the answer to that real quick.
Ohio State Fishing Records.
I need to know if it says sport fishing.
Oh,
Or whatever.
Matt is
What?
wannabe outdoors, right?
Yes.
So he mentioned something about high-rise fence hunting should be illegal. I agree with some exceptions, because there's some kids, like Make-A-Wish and stuff like that, old people who can't really get out there. So I think it needs to be a lot more regulated instead of just a bunch of rich people making a weekend and shooting somebody's pet, essentially. But if a 10-year-old that will never, like, probably won't make it to 11, that wants to go hunting, like, they've showed interest in hunting, I believe that should be perfectly fine. Sorry, I just noticed his comment.
You're good. Apparently, it was another bank fishing vendors are welcome in. Apparently, there was another issue with the bass tournament recently with people checking weights in the fish. It's ridiculous, man. You know, you're competing with I don't know. I don't understand why they think it's a good idea. It's like the guys that use fish baskets and just hide a limit and then try to go pick them up. I never understood any of that either. Never understood it.
There was that one famous guy that did that too. Like,
I don't remember which one you're talking about.
I
I know Mike Iaconelli did a call on a tournament that wasn't allowed to call. Remember that being a thing.
So, wannabe, Matt, I was looking online, and when I typed in,
I think it was Mike Iaconelli. I could be wrong.
Mike Long.
Yeah, sorry. Mike Long, what do you do?
So he would basket bass and put them under, like, starve them for like 5 or 6 days, and like just have them like hidden under docks and stuff like that. And this guy was so notorious, like such a bad cheater. He had like hidden live wells in his boats, like under his rod holders would be a secret live well, essentially. So he would catch like a 1-pound bass, and there'd be like somebody on a tournament sponsor that would be like taking a leak on the back of his boat. Everybody does it. Like he would be distracted or something like that and be like, holy crap, look, 6-pound largemouth or something stupid like that. And he got caught because somebody just got like the coloring on the fish.
The other guy that got caught by the people that were like filming him and like following him on the
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
he
would be catching like 6-7-pound bass, and lakes where like the record lake fit or bass would be like 4 pounds, and the camel, like the coloring, like everybody has caught like a bass, and you know for a fact like that fish came from that lake because it is such like a dark color or light colors, like the coloring is unique to that lake. But he would be catching like 180 fish from this one lake, and 2 or 3 pounds bigger than this lake like record. So it just all sorts of flags would be raised on this guy, but nobody could prove anything until people in ghillie suits recorded him, and they recorded him planting baskets, and his like, well, I didn't do anything wrong because I'm still catching these fish. Which, I mean, he's not wrong. But...
Understandable.
Well, that's like there's another guy. I think he was down in Texas or Oklahoma or something. He was got caught. He was keeping fish that he snagged, bass that he snagged, and was winning tournaments and stuff like that. And got busted for that too.
Okay, so Matt, you made a comment that jug lining is sport fishing in Ohio. Last time you were there, that's what it was. So I was online trying to find out, like, for example, TWA on our state, it specifies A is recreational sport fishing, B is commercial, and it lists like all the techniques you can use with commercial fishing. I could not find that with Ohio, but I did want to mention that Merriam-Webster, the definition, like the dictionary, does say sport fishing is rod and reel only. So by default, sport fishing is only rod and reel. And that's like, you can't argue with Merriam-Webster because it's literally the dictionary.
I argue with the dictionary.
But my point, though, is I don't want to take anyone's glory. I don't want anyone to be like,
well, and that wasn't
I don't want to be a hater.
But I said that wasn't what tonight was supposed to be about. It was just like, were the people that were upset about it, were they justified? Do we agree or disagree? That's all it was. It's more of a discussion for the group. We weren't. This was not meant to be a bash the 15-year-old. This wasn't meant to be oh, shame on her. This was just was it handled in a way that we all agree is good or bad? And the answer is obviously no. It was not.
I mean, as a 15, like
probably not.
Go ahead, Sam.
No, I thought I was interrupting Anthony, not you. So by all means, go ahead.
I was just saying that while I think it's a great feat, and I think that she should get all kinds of recognition, I think they should make a replica of it. I think she should get a certificate of some kind. I know that there's some kind of pinning recognition thing in Ohio I was just reading about or whatever. If it happened here, based on the definition of what we consider sport fishing and everything, then I would have a problem with someone getting a state record, not based on their age or their gender, but in general, based on definitions and stuff. I don't know what Ohio's going to do. Whatever decision they make will be the right decision, in my opinion, because the state gets to make those definitions and those decisions. But I think she should be super proud of herself. Is my point.
Oh no, she definitely should be.
Like that's an amazing feat, no matter what you no matter how you feel about the record part.
That's a once in a lifetime fish, like especially that far north.
Lisa said, Anthony, the only reason you argue with the dictionary is because they didn't put your picture next to the definition of nutcase. That's right, they didn't put yours next to the definition of Photoshopper either.
It's amazing you have any friends.
Hey, look, I'm a firm believer if you can't take it, don't dish it out.
I mean, that's fair.
And all of my friends agree and feel the same way.
That's fair.
That's why I get along with them all. But
yeah.
Where's
the public
that?
water thing has me,
I don't know. It's been way past 20 minutes.
The public water thing has me really kind of burned up, though, because I really think that matters. You're not wrong. I hate Ohio.
Yes.
Matt said Ohio's bass backwards.
I hate Ohio. I hate driving through it. I hate Cleveland. Gosh. The only thing good about it is their children's hospital.
Lisa, it's with love. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all love in this club.
But the public water thing has me really upset.
No,
the pay lakes thing has me upset too. That's a whole different topic.
It is. And I said, we'll definitely that might be next week, the next episode. We might talk about pay lakes and that dilemma and
it makes me emotional.
What people are doing for it and what we can do to help with it, because it's definitely something that at least everybody in this household feels very strongly about it.
It makes me it makes me emotional.
But it's just absolutely crazy. And when people as famous as Bill Dance are writing to the Congress of the state and everything about, hey, this is a problem, then it's something that needs to at least be talked about, if not fixed.
But I tell you now, if Billy Joe goes catches 140-pound catfish out of his damn pond, he better not get a record.
Hey, easy. Family channel.
You said
family channel.
Is that a bad word?
Is it not a bad word? You weren't referring to the concrete square.
I think she was. I think this man has a little dam on his property. Like, that's what I believe.
Okay. I got you.
Don't worry, I got your back.
You don't realize what you said, do you?
What? I said, damn.
There she goes again.
Well, there's an R rating.
Sheena, a.k.a. the Sailor. The Sailor.
Whatever. Anyways, my point is, I think that it'd be a disservice to, like, Micah Burkhart to get knocked off his throne by Billy Joe that has a 140-pound catfish in his private pond, down in Green Pond.
No, I do agree. If it's going to be a state record, it needs to be caught in public water.
Because, like, I know how to pump a kid full of, like, MCT oil, make him fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it ain't gonna be that hard to feed a catfish something that's gonna make him super freaking fat.
I could just see Shayna tube feeding a catfish. Come on, you can be my 200-pound record.
So, Lisa, because you brought that up, it is a catch, but it would never count as a record in my book. I would never be like, oh my gosh, I caught a, whatever the record is for flatheads in Tennessee. I have no idea. Whatever. It wouldn't be a real catch to me. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate
Jeff said you guys had me turned off from visiting, and he specifically put an address down.
What is that address?
It's somewhere in Ohio. I don't know what that address is for.
I'm scared to Google it because what if it's like a methadone clinic?
My question. I'm wondering if it's a
Hold on, we're gonna map it. We're gonna map it. What's the address?
1100 East.
Hold on.
9th Street.
God.
And it's in Cleveland, Ohio. Your favorite city in Ohio.
God. Hold on, that didn't work. Hold on. 1100 East.
1100
9th
East 9th Street, Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland. Okay, I got
44114. But yeah.
So, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't want to go there either.
But like,
Screw Ohio, man. I hate Ohio.
Why so you're so negative?
I spent a lot of summers in Ohio, and I'm just not thrilled with Ohio.
I got you. But like, I was gonna go somewhere with this too. Oh, there's one other thing we haven't talked about though when it comes to records. Yeah, obviously. Hey, wait! What is that? It's a wild Zach. There he is. There he is. Welcome to the show.
Gonna be a little late. I was here for the credits.
Just the entire episode.
You got 40 minutes left.
Just the entire episode late.
About? You need to tilt your camera up higher, one of the two.
Listen, Matt, I've been through all of Ohio, man. I've spent a lot of time in Ohio. A lot of time. My grandparents used to live there. My father used to live there. I've been through plenty of Ohio.
Oh, look at One Eye Willie showing off there. My big male peacock.
Yeah, I see that.
He's about 8 inches, man.
Can I go to bed?
Chat, can she go to bed? Y'all get to decide. I have completely left it up to the chat. Can my wife go to bed, or she has to stay up for another 40 minutes?
I've been up since 5.
She's at the mercy of you guys.
Yeah. Lisa,
I will be here for 40 minutes.
Lisa, tell me to go to sleep.
Zach will definitely be here for 40 minutes. Sam, I know will be here for 40 minutes. He might fall asleep before the end of it, but he'll be here.
Not that I don't love y'all, but I'm tired.
Oh, I'm fighting with this stupid model right now.
Go to bed.
Post won't go in his little home.
Matt said no.
Okay,
Lisa
Matt.
said no.
That's
Exclamation
hurtful.
points.
That's hurtful.
She wants to see her. She wants to see her friend.
What if I text you instead?
Wait, so you're gonna leave us in this open discussion with multiple people to go text somebody and basically cupcake with them in the corner?
No. Text her and then immediately go to sleep.
It's even worse.
Because she loves me and she knows I'm tired. That's fine. I'll stay on. I might be snoring in a second, y'all.
All right, Zach. So we've heard Shayna's very vocal opinion. We've heard my kind of agreeing with her thing, playing a little bit devil's advocate, but not too much. And then Sam's opinion. We all kind of agree on the same page. We do not think that if a person catches a fish on a jug, that it should be a state record in the same category as rod and reel fishing records.
There's no way possible. That's a whole different level.
Well, my argument is
a rod. What's the rod limit? What's the rod limit in where was it? Ohio?
I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's only like 2 rods or 3 rods, probably.
Hold on, I'll Google it.
But I'm pretty sure you can drop 150 jugs out.
Well, that's the thing. It depends on the state, right? So, like in Tennessee, I can only throw either 25 or 50. I can't remember.
Anglers may use a maximum of 3 fishing rods statewide.
Yeah, 3 rods allowed in Ohio. What about jugs?
Hold on. Jug limit, Ohio.
Probably
50 lines, no more than 50 hooks per trot line. But that's a trot line.
So, yeah, so they have 50 chances versus 3.
Jugs and trot lines are not sport fishing.
No, I agree.
OhioGameFishing.com. Jugs and trot lines are not sport fishing.
All right, Matt, did you hear that? According to, what was it, Ohio Fishing Game?
Mm-hmm.
Jugs.
In my opinion, it should be nowhere near that. Like, that 50 chances to catch that big fish versus that 3 chances, there's no way to categorize that together.
No, I agree.
Would you agree that it'd be fair to have a separate category?
Now, if it's a separate category, yeah, because that evens your odds on the point of somebody else catching that big fish compared to they only have a 3-rod limit. That makes it more fair because instead of going against I guess if you look at it like a competitive thing, like most people do, it would be my 3 rods versus your 50 jugs.
Yeah, it's a huge.
Who's going to win every time?
Both the numbers of fish and area of water or amount of water covered, right?
All right,
Yeah.
I got a question. Hypothetical situation. What if you're fishing, right? And I'm guessing this big catfish took this jug underwater at least a couple of times, right? Makes sense.
Well, probably. Well, here's the thing.
No, let me finish.
Let him finish, Anthony.
What if you cast your rod and you hook the jug and you bring the jug in? Does it count?
You caught it on rod and reel. That's what my opinion is on that one.
No, because you didn't hook the fish with your hook that's attached to your
You
line.
caught it. I didn't say you hooked it. You caught it.
No, you're not listening to me.
Bad.
Definition of sport fishing is
Bad.
rod and reel with a hook attached.
She's not in
Okay.
the house. Bad.
If you did not hook that fish with that rod and reel, I don't count it as a
Not.
catch.
I love you.
I
It's
won't
like
lie
saying,
if that happens.
I caught a net.
If
If
happens,
that
I'll
ever
fall off
happened to
the
me,
boat.
I'm probably just gonna throw that jug away and be like, dude, you won't believe the day of I've had. Like, look at this fish.
It's like me and Skip were at the dam one time fishing, and to me, this is a rude situation. We're anchored up at the dam fishing. Dude goes about 30 yards ahead of us. We don't have a rod limit or a jug limit. I don't think we have a jug limit.
Okay.
And drops about 100 jugs, and they're all floating down into our lines.
So you want to know something funny about Tennessee that I found out like last week?
What?
You are not allowed to jug fish within 1,000 yards of a dam.
I wish it was that way here. It might be that way here. I haven't looked up jug laws.
It might be
I've never
100
jug
yards.
fished.
Either 100 or 1,000, but either way, it's like I'm pretty sure it's 1,000. I was like, that's like way downstream past the railroad bridge at Chickamauga Dam when I saw that number. But you know,
There's no limit in Alabama on jugs.
Randy makes a good point.
And you can't leave them overnight in Alabama.
Okay, in Alabama you can't leave them overnight, but in Tennessee you can. They have to be checked once every 24 hours. And that's what Randy's put. He said I put out 50 jugs and leave them out to the next day, sometimes next afternoon. You can't do that with a rod. You know, you're going to lose your rod. It's going to go in the water. As Zach will tell you, rod's going in the water all the time.
Dude, it was like y'all talking about the deer earlier, man. Hitting a deer with a car. I just did that Thursday.
I know.
I didn't know, but that's pretty funny.
Dude, I plowed it going 60 miles an hour.
Holy crap, dude. Didn't he just get that car?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he have insurance?
I just swapped it over to liability because I was about to put it in the shop and get the taillights fixed.
Dude.
Hey, Sam, Jeff's with you. He said he'd cut that line on that jug if he caught the jug.
Right? I'll be like, all right, there is no jug here.
Oh, no, he also said it would be considered a foul snag.
Yeah, nobody would be the wiser. I'm honest. Like, if that ever happened to me, like, think of this like odds. Like, you catch this jug that's underwater, and you catch this, like, reel in this fish. I'm like, it's a thank you, God. Like,
Can I ask a question?
What's up?
So say you do hook onto someone's jug and you cut the jug from it and everything. Isn't that damaging someone else's fishing equipment?
Yes, it is, and yes, you can get in trouble for it.
I was just curious.
The only time you're allowed to cut a trot line or a jug line or anything like that is if it is presenting a life-threatening situation at the time.
Is that statewide or federal?
Well, in Tennessee, you're not allowed to mess with anybody's lines. Now, if they're not labeled, you're supposed to call it in.
Alabama does not require labeling or anything like that.
Nope.
I mean, your state's weird, dude. You can't. Okay, so you can't sit with the jugs overnight. You have unlimited rod limit.
Let me
you have
explain
unlimited jug limit. You don't have to label your stuff.
Hey, stop a second.
But you can't chum for carp.
Stop for a
Like,
second.
I don't understand that at all.
Hey, overnight comment is because I know a lot of people who will throw things out there and then go sleep or whatever.
Yeah, and then come take it the next day.
They have to be taken in at the end of your fishing trip. So if you're sleeping on your boat overnight, sure, fine. If you're fishing overnight, sure, fine. But say you go out at 3 a.m., you pop them all out, you go to the bank, whatever, that's illegal.
What if you live on the lake?
I don't think that counts. I think once you leave the water,
It's a continuous fishing trip.
Yeah.
I think you have. Well, most people aren't going to throw jugs in right at the bank. It's gonna be a little harder to do that.
That's also true.
But
So
once you leave that water space, I believe that's counted as an end of a fishing trip.
the only reason I'm asking is because here when we go ice fishing, we use tip ups. Tip ups are very similar to what jug fishing. We're only allowed 3 tip ups, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Sorry,
I've
It's
just
still
I've
got a
seen
reel on it.
people-
Just the rod's a stick instead of a rod.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I've still
That
seen
one's
people
a really tough one.
like I've seen them like live on the lake, and they just like and they're like sunroom out there with like a spotting scope and just like watch their flag.
Watch the tip ups.
Yeah.
I'll send my buddy
I'm
James
grabbing me
in.
a drink right quick. I haven't drank anything in a little bit.
You're an hour and a half late, and now you're
And
going
now you're going to get a drink. You
AFK?
can't have a break. What is this?
Enjoy the fish tank. It's better looking than my face is.
I
We
didn't.
know.
I didn't say it. Oh wow, Shannon, geesh. I didn't say it.
Listen, he
Shannon,
be
Shannon.
using product in his facial hair. Okay, I don't want to hear it. Anyways, Sam,
What's
I
that?
think
I use product in my facial hair. Thank you very
You do.
much.
I think you misheard her. You
What'd
guys
she
said the
say?
same thing.
huh?
It's all good.
Anyways, on that topic of is it considered a continuous fishing trip, I really think that if you want to make a stink, for example, in Tennessee, if we had that, I'm not sure what the rules are here because I didn't Google it, I just Googled Alabama. I think it'd be really easy for DWRA to be like, no, this doesn't count, and be like, bye, jugs. That's what I think would happen. It depends on the agent, as always.
So I think if you have to be within, like, you have to be able to watch your flags at all time, because I've known people have gotten caught doing this or doing what I said before, but I also know people do it, and like the DNR comes out, or like Fish and Wildlife, and like instantly the guys who are like on their snow will be like, wait, like I know I'm not here, but I'm here. Like I'm obviously I'm watching these, so and they like, all right, yeah, just make sure you're watching these. But I wasn't sure if that would be the same thing.
I know in Michigan they're pretty adamant about being close enough to your rods to fish too. I was watching a documentary of some guys that were carp fishing up in Holland, and they had one rod that was, I don't know, 300, maybe not 300 feet away. It was a decent distance away, right? Like they had to run to get to it, but they had a bite alarm on it, and they had the other 2 rods. They were fishing this one little tunnel thing with 1 rod, and they were fishing this giant hole on the other side with 2 rods. And the DNR officer got them for not being on the rod with that 1 rod, even though they had the alarm and everything. So a lot of you got to remember, everybody. You got to remember a lot of the rules that have gray areas are completely dependent on the interpretation of the officers you're dealing with when it comes to that situation. Hey, Amanda. Hey, who was that one? That one's new.
Does this one have diabetes too?
No.
Okay. Good.
Thank God this one isn't hypoglycemic.
Oh, sorry.
This is, I guess you would call him the breeder replace Sabbath with him. This is Merlin.
Merlin, I like it.
Yeah.
The powerful wizard.
Yeah. I just think it's Disney.
And then my corgi I'm getting is Maximus Prime.
Matt, yes, that's what we're talking about. You're supposed to be so close to the holes and to the flags to be able to actually quantify as you're being there. And it's dependent. Like there's some guys you'll fish, you have like a group of guys, and they'll each sit with a radio in like 4 different corners, and they have jugs all the way around. And it may not be their jug they're watching; it could be somebody else's. But as long as somebody's watching that jug and occupying it, they usually let you get away with it. Why aren't you carrying around a mop? That was a cute little mop.
Oh, here, bring me. This is what he's gonna look like when he's older. Bring me Ozzy real quick.
Oz is a good boy. Not the whole crowd doesn't though. He's showing the crowd.
Oh my bad.
Let me see.
You know what? They told me I can go to bed, and they're like not even on here anymore.
Yeah, they're still here.
Where's Lisa?
Lisa,
where the hell
Randy,
you
say
at?
something.
Yeah, that's my Oz man.
There's Ozzy.
Hey Ozzy, hi buddy.
He's looking good, man.
A big Pomeranian.
Yes. But yeah, so there's one part of records we haven't discussed though. Now we're done with this whole rant and rave.
Oh,
We
sorry.
only got 20 minutes left. There is another
I didn't
kind
get
of
to rant that much.
No, we did. Andy did mostly.
Sorry.
But like, so
But I was
we
late. I was late.
talked about state records, like all class rod and reel records, right? We talked about whether or not we believe there should be commercial records separate from each state. Most states seem to already have this in play, but should there be separate categories for personal use of commercial techniques versus commercial techniques? And me personally, that's to me that's the caveat. There really should be three categories. You should have rod and reel. You should have sport fishermen using commercial techniques within their limited capability,
That's what I said earlier.
and then you have your commercial fishermen who have, like you said, the umpteen billion hooks they get away with, the giant nets they have to get away with.
I said that exact thing
I think they should
earlier
be separate, and they both said, "Hey."
because I was like A, B, and C. Remember?
Yep.
Hi.
So we all agree with that. But there's another thing. If you were listening to the microfishing and light tackle talk we were talking about earlier, there's a thing called line class records,
Didn't even know that was a thing.
and I'm pretty sure every state has those, but don't hold me to that. Again, we are not professionals. I still have a disclaimer in the description. We are not professionals. This is all based on our opinion and our experiences.
I caught a 70-pound flathead on 2 pound.
I don't.
I did not. It was just a joke.
I don't know if Alabama has a line class.
I think they do, but it's not openly advertised, right? It's not something you have to actually Google line class records for a state for an account, if I'm not mistaken. But the reason I bring it up because there's a couple of guys in Canada that they flirt between Canada and Michigan with their
They
fishing.
do.
And they specifically, I'll show you in just a second.
I'm having to keep an eye on my phone. It's about dead.
Dude, if you disconnect again, you're going to be grounded.
Hey,
You know,
ground me all you want to.
Now that I'm thinking about it, guys, the line class records might be just for the world records. States may not have it. I can't remember. But either way, these two guys are two brothers. I think they have 4 or 5 of the line class records when it comes to rainbow trout.
It is world record. I love.
Which is absolutely nuts. So yeah, okay, line class records are world records, guys, not state records. I apologize. Yes, the one guy caught. Let me try and find it here. So yeah, in 2007, he caught a 43-pound, 10-ounce IGFA all tackle record rainbow trout, which broke a 37-year-old record. Then they also caught a 48-pound one. Then they caught, let's see.
And this is on micro?
No. But these two guys in particular, I'm trying to find where it showed it. They got the 20-pound class record and they got the 12-pound class record. And they're a pound apart, but they had. This isn't the same article I found earlier this week, but they were talking about how there's a 2-pound, a 4-pound, 6-pound, 8-pound, 10-pound. And I think it was like 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. I don't have all the lines available on those line class records if I remember correctly. But let me find that actually. Line class records. IGFA. But on those line class records, they actually have to test the line on your rod and prove if it actually is that weight class you're claiming.
Yeah, they test.
If it tests stronger, then you get bumped into the next category. That was something else they talked about in that.
I would be so mad if like Berkeley or whatever like goobered up my fishing line. Like,
yeah. Why can't I find it?
Find what?
I'm looking for the line class records so I can show the categories of it.
That'd be nice to know. That'd give me something to look forward to if I'd done that, though. I mean,
Talking about what?
that'd be a whole new class of people
Classes.
trying to hit state records.
Oh, here we go. Pull this up.
Ooh, they have tippet classes too.
Right, and that's to be for fly fishing. That's the really teeny tiny lines.
Right, it's made me think of Sam because you talked about tippets earlier.
All right, so here you go. Here's some information for you guys. All tackle world records are kept for the heaviest fish of its species, caught by an angler in any line class up to 60 kilograms, up to 130 pounds. All tackle record claims are considered for all species of fish according to the IGFA International Angling Rules. Now, if I read this correctly, this way this reads: if you use a line that is heavier than 130 pounds, you cannot apply for a world record through IGFA, which is the main organization that handles fishing records.
Is there a particular record you want to find?
No, I'm just trying to find out what the line classes that are available are.
Oh, okay.
If you're applying for an all tackle species record that's not included currently in the IGFA line class and tippet class listings, it has to be able to represent a valid species with a recognized scientific name. It must be identifiable based on photos and other supporting data presented at the application. The fish must be considered trophy size. The rule of thumb is that the weight must fall within the top half of the maximum reported weight for the species. If no maximum weight is available, it must fall within the top half of the maximum reported length for the species. So there's a certain point where they don't keep records for fish unless they're above a certain length if they're too small weight-wise. Just nuts. Oh, here we go. All tackle length world records are kept for the longest fish of each eligible species in any line class up to 130 pounds and released alive. There's a junior world records category. There's a small fry world record category, which is heavy fish of each eligible species with a line class up to 130 pounds. Those records are for anybody who's under the age of 10. Line class. Here we go. Line class world records are kept for each eligible species according to the breaking strength of the first 5 meters, 16.5 feet of line directly preceding the double line leader or hook. This section must be comprised of a single homogeneous piece of line. For all line class records, the weight of the fish must be at least half of the line class used to make the catch. And then there's tippet class, which is a whole other thing. Let's see. Here's the thing you're talking about, Sam. If you use a 6-pound line, no, that's not right. Hang on. The IGFA tests all line and tippet samples submitted with world record claims using the metric system, which varies slightly from the imperial measurement system. For example, the imperial measurement system equivalent of 4 kilograms is 8.81 pounds. Thus, line designated by the manufacturer's 8-pound class line may test up to 8.81 pounds to qualify for the 8-pound line class record. So they have some room for error.
That's good.
I stopped listening.
You're good.
That was a lot of talking. No offense.
Well, it's just a lot of things here. I mean, the IGFA World Record Requirements is the page that I'm on, guys. They literally have all of it written out here for you to be able to find it. I was unable to find the thing I was looking for, but those brothers that had that rainbow trouts, specifically had 3 or 4 line class records as well, and all of them were breaking close to world record size of those trout when they were catching, which is absolutely nuts. Excuse me, sorry guys.
I'm here, I promise.
I know you're here. We hear you. Can't see you, but we hear you.
I'll be back up in a second. I had to do something real quick. I'm trying to get kids to bed.
It is, dude. That was a massive trout. It was absolutely nuts. You might be right about the brown trout. It might be Arkansas. I can't remember for sure. Well, and so every species does have a line class record.
What? Your chair.
I'm sorry, but not every state does the line class records. It's just the world records of the line class records. So
that'd be cool, though.
Ever for the rest of my life.
It would be cool to say so. So what most of the states? I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I'm going to submit every single fish I've ever caught ever my entire life for the rest of my life from now on.
And try.
You never know.
Right.
That's true. Now, I will say Tennessee, especially, but Ohio does too. I think Michigan does. They all have like a recognition program where if you catch a fish that may not be a state record or a world record, but is above what they consider to be trophy level, where you get a certificate or a pin or something that says, "Hey,
Yeah,
you."
where it's like a master class or something.
Yeah,
Like
and it's
Ohio
something.
has that pin recognition.
But I say Shayna and I
program.
need to do it more. We've both caught several fish that would have gotten the what they call the TARP recognition program here in Tennessee. It's something that we need to actually submit for and get because we're definitely missing some for sure. And it's not really anything other than, oh, hey, you did this. It's another form of recognition. Obviously, if we kind of record our fishing trips, so we usually take photos or video of it. We do catch this stuff, but it's a good thing to have out there for people to recognize. But if you're going to do this record stuff, make sure you're following everything to a T. Don't get caught shoving weights in the fish.
Or rather, just don't do it. Don't worry about not getting caught. Just
Don't catch it out of a pond and try to claim you caught it in public water unless you think you can get away with it. And if you think you can get away with it, you really shouldn't do it anyway, because if I find out, we're not going to be friends anymore. And then, long story short, just all this boils down to having fun with fishing. You know, get your recognition, remember the stuff, use the light line tackle, use the microfishing if you want, use your regular tactics, whatever. Even if you're jug fishing or trout line fishing, again, this was not bashing that girl for catching the record fish. We're happy she caught the fish. We're happy she got the record. But I do think it should have been a separate category because, again,
well, we don't know if she's getting the record. That's the thing.
No. They did give her the record. What they're saying is whether or not they're going to make it a separate category and re-recognize the old record as rod and reel. That was the debate. At this point.
I see. Thank you.
That part had.
I think they
hadn't been voted yet.
I think they need to give it a separate category.
I do too. And like I said, I think it's the general consensus of most people here. But it boils down to the same things like you were talking about. If they can fish with 50 jugs but only 3 rods, well, then that person had a huge advantage. So it's just it's catching balances. I mean, either way, if you think about the world record part, all the world record does is recognize you, right? It's not like you're making money from it necessarily. I mean, you probably could some way, form, or fashion. Oh, hey, I caught the world record fish. Here's how I did it. Come follow me. I'll pay me. I'll take you to the spot I did it, that kind of thing. Sure, there's that aspect of it, I guess. But generally speaking, if you're going to be catching those big fish, you're not going to make any money from it, really. So I don't. There's a fine line of should you really be regulated versus not. You know what I mean? And I think
if they'll let me, I'm building a pleco army right now. I'm gonna raise them out and have the world record pleco.
Yeah, and you get arrested for illegally stocking fish. Way to go!
Can make a pond in his basement.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all get what I'm talking about, but the viewers don't. I literally have a pleco army.
Lisa said she'd let you go to bed now, but that was like 10 minutes ago. Sorry. Matt said, really, not every state abides by it, but no, that's not right. Isn't the line class a federal thing? And yes, it is. We figured that out. Okay, what would you do if you found out a fish was caught in Alabama, was ran up the Tennessee River to Tennessee because the record was lower in Tennessee, and you launched in Tennessee? That fish was caught in Alabama, and it would have to count as an Alabama fish. If you got caught doing so, I'm sure there's some fine or penalty for falsifying documents at a federal level.
Well, that and taking fish over state lines and stuff in different counties. There's all kinds of rules about that.
Most states don't allow you to take live fish across state lines either. So
take your fishing equipment.
That is something to be aware of as well.
If you get caught doing that here, if you get caught moving fish from different bodies of water and stuff like that here,
I can't
take your fishing equipment.
They can, yes. Matt, it does not say how big of a jug she was using. It just said she was using a jug. Randy, I understand your point of Nickajack starting in Tennessee, running in Alabama. It's actually Gunnersville, not Nickajack, that does that. It's Gunnersville starts at Nickajack Dam and goes down, whereas Nickajack is actually above Nickajack Dam, runs up to stays in Tennessee, runs over to Chattanooga.
It goes Nickajack, Gunnersville, Wheeler, Wilson, then Pickwick.
Sounds right.
That sounds right, actually.
But that's my Alabama stretch.
Right, Gunnersville is actually the one that goes from Tennessee into Alabama.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be a no-no. It's like the shared water laws with like Michigan and Wisconsin and Michigan and Indiana. They all have separate things too. is still technically Lake Michigan in that particular aspect. Since the state lines don't actually cross over through the bodies of water there, they probably could get away with something like that.
I think it's up to the agent's discretion to
Probably.
try to call it in.
But yeah, and I don't know for sure if they actually split the lakes like that, where they have like a dividing line right in the middle, you know, and they base that way, or if they just say they caught it in Lake Michigan, but they were launched.
I've actually asked a game warden about like what would count as Alabama fishing versus Tennessee fishing, and I think it's 5 river miles still counts as Alabama, and it goes that way opposite into Tennessee too.
Right, but that only, I mean, I don't know for sure, but that kind of stuff only works if the bodies of water have that shared license agreement going with them.
Yeah.
Because in some parts of the country, if they have a shared body of water like that, one state won't allow you to fish in their state with the other state's license. And that's where that gray line is. Or that would be a hard line. Sorry, the gray line, like I said, is like the Great Lakes, where they're touching multiple states, and there is no crossing of lines because the state lines don't run through it. Like obviously on Gunnersville, the state line crosses the river, the lake, right? So there's a defined line of this is exactly where the Tennessee state line is versus where, oh hey, this is Lake Michigan. Which state does it actually belong to?
It's in the name.
Yeah, and they give you
What about Lake Huron?
They give you 5 river miles each way.
So it just depends. It's not, again, you have to look up your state regulations and state agreements. I know they're really confusing one. Tennessee and Alabama have the shared license, but Tennessee and Kentucky don't. No, sorry. Yes. No.
Make up your mind.
Maybe.
Tennessee and Kentucky do. You're allowed to fish. I think I'm pretty sure they do. You're allowed to fish the whole entire lake, the half a lake that's in Kentucky, with a Tennessee license, whereas Alabama you only have the so many miles. I think that's right. Don't hold me to that. So there's different stipulations based on the areas you live in, obviously. That's another good point, Matt. If you are dealing with something like that, you can't take your boat out of the water and relaunch it. It has to stay in the water the whole time if you're crossing lines.
Yep. And I don't think you can do it on the bank either.
No, that one I know
it's
for a fact.
Only in a boat.
Yeah, the bank is a hard line. Which is funny because if you're fishing on the bank in Tennessee, but you cast your line out in the river and the fish runs downstream, did it get landed in the other state or is it still landed in Tennessee?
I'm sorry, repeat that because I was listening. What?
If I'm standing right next to the state line sign for Alabama and I'm in Tennessee fishing and I cast my line and it floats a little bit downstream in Alabama and I hook a fish and I land it, but I'm standing on Tennessee. Is it a Tennessee fish?
Tennessee fish because it's landed in Tennessee.
Right, but my hook was in Alabama.
Doesn't matter. It wasn't caught until it's up out of the water. It's not caught until it's out of the water.
And I think you're thinking about it too hard, man.
Probably. It's because it's late.
You would not be thinking that on the river if that happened.
No, I would not.
If I were to say I caught a fish, but I didn't actually land it, then I would be catching a fish. But if you're standing on Tennessee land and you reel it in, you've caught it on Tennessee land.
Yeah.
So if a tree falls in a woods,
does it make a sound?
I'm just like sitting here listening to all of this. I'm like, this is like, I normally come up with like out of the world like scenarios, and you guys are just beating me now. Kind of impressive.
So,
I watched that 30 minutes ago and no one
so Sam, you're in agreement with me then he's overthinking this.
So at the time, he would be underthinking it so much. Like, I don't think it would really matter, especially if it was a record level fish. But like a year later, he'd be like, huh, wonder if I broke a law.
That's exactly how you process things.
Who?
You.
No, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Nah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
I gotta agree with her. You're that bad.
Yeah.
Question?
Guys and gals, as this episode's coming to a close, we've discussed
A lot.
a lot. Yes, we've discussed microfishing, we've discussed light line fishing, the benefits to it, the not so much benefits to it. The fact
We'll
that
have
you
to come back to microfishing again because I want
maybe,
You
No.
forfeited that one.
maybe you
You
missed out.
forfeited
It's
that
your
one.
fault.
You should have been here on time, not 2.5 hours late. Did your
to.
son
I'm at the
dial?
mercy of.
The
I'm
sundial.
at the mercy of somebody else right now until
Call
Monday.
an Uber. Get a bike. You got plenty of fuel. I can see your tummy.
Jesus.
Oof. Ouch. I was trying to, and then it turned into a fat kid bash.
I didn't
But
do it
like,
this time.
I'm losing weight. Come
I
on.
will say, if you guys are tuning into this, we appreciate you stopping by and checking it out. My name is Anthony. My wife Shannon joining us along with Sam and Zach from Sam's MPT Outdoors and Catfish Viking YouTube channels. We do appreciate you guys. Again, we weren't bashing the girls' record. We were discussing whether or not it was handled correctly in our opinions. We'd like to know your thoughts too. If you're listening to this, please put in the comments down below. Let us know what your opinions are on this. We'd love to have discussions there too. If you're new to the Bait Tank podcast, we talk about fishing. We love fishing. We talk about random rants of other things too, but typically we try to keep it around fishing. And until next time, we are the Bait Tank, and we will see you guys again very soon. One final reminder. We do have the Bait Tank podcast does have its own YouTube channel and its own pages and stuff. If you haven't subscribed to those, please consider doing so. It will not be always on the Extra Outdoors channel, as the more we multi-stream, I'm limited on destinations, so it won't always be on both channels. So if you haven't done so already, please go over to the Bait Tank YouTube channel and subscribe to that if you are watching from YouTube. But yeah, until next time, guys, tight lines, be safe, and we'll see you guys again in 2 weeks.